Om Shanti. Today Baba in the Murli says that, this is a vicious world. And in this vicious world, impurity, corruption is rewarded. And Baba gives the example that, there are countries where if you produce many children, okay, so Baba says abroad they give prize to those who have 4 or 5 babies at the same time. Okay, so, this is just an example, but if you look around in the world, there is, felicitation by the government, or financial rewards or social rewards, social recognition or social honor is bestowed upon mostly people who are into lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed. So in the world, lust is rewarded, impurity is rewarded, and purity is penalized. So if you are trying to be pure, then your very people will be against you and they will not like your idea and they will oppose you. And even if you go to the court, there is no clear law that when you are in a marital relationship, then you have the right to protest that I am being pulled into lust by force. So, domestic assault, rape is not recognized categorically. So, marital rape is not recognized categorically in India even today and in most nations. So you see that according to the law, according to the society, according to the family, or even financially, you are rewarded if, so Baba talked about being rewarded financially also that day, that when a girl becomes impure, then she's entitled to property. So, all these kinds of practices exist, and we understand that if we are into lust and attachment and greed, so, even in the world, if you are greedy and you're willing to cross the line every now and then people think that you're more interested in the office than if you're not willing to cross the line, and if you always stay within your boundaries, then they think that they cannot make you do too much, so they cannot make you cross the line, so they're not very interested in you then. So all of these things exist in the world. So if you are an angry person, then nobody takes you for granted, and then they kind of mind their business sometimes. Or if you're very attached, then people like you. So people like those people, not those who are detached and loving, but those who are attached. Yes, so because everybody likes their own type. So when you are like the others, when you are full of vices, then other people kind of reward you for that. And we have created a culture where greed, attachment, ego, lust, they are all rewarded. So if somebody is always screaming from their body language, you have to respect me, you cannot ignore me. So somebody is full of ego, then you also take care that they are amply placed, and they are suitably regarded, and they receive what they are due to receive. But when somebody is modest and humble, sometimes people don't pay a lot of attention, and they don't even give you a good seat to sit on. So you see that these things happen, and Baba says that this is a vicious world, so what else do you expect? So this is a vicious world, and the quality of a vicious world is viciousness is rewarded. So these days people take a lot of pride in describing their level of viciousness also. And people describe how vicious they are in in many sentences, and they brag about it, and they are not shy about it. And then there are these opinions in the world where people are encouraged to come out in the open about how vicious they are, and proclaim that viciousness is normal and make it normal. So all of these things are happening, and Baba says that this is how Kali Yuga will be. And it's very interesting if you see that. So when the world is Kali Yuga, when the world is vicious, then the wave is for viciousness. So the tide is for viciousness. And this is how it is supposed to be. This is how it is. But the thing is, how do you maintain your enthusiasm, or pull out the courage, or maintain your consistency in following Srimad, or in following the path of purity, whether it is purity from, freedom from lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. So how do you go about embracing a pure lifestyle, pure behavior, pure conduct in an atmosphere which rewards viciousness? So this is the big question. So I think that you can only travel through this dark, vicious world and reach your aim, which is, attaining a perfect, constant state of purity, by practicing purity all the way, by holding the torch of faith. Because if there is no faith, then this journey cannot happen, because you will not be rewarded instantly. But you must have faith in the aim, in the relevance of the aim, and you must have faith in the method. So you must have faith in the aim, you must have faith in the method. This is very important. And Baba today compares us, Baba calls us today doubly non-violent Shiv Shakti army, which is unknown but very well known. So Baba says you are the doubly non-violent Shiv Shakti army, and you are unknown to the world, but you are very well known. So we will try to understand this. So have you ever thought about the ones who work in the army? So the ones who are part of the army, you see, they get up every day early morning, they train themselves, they do everything. For what? For a war which they know will happen, but they are not sure when. Yes, so you see that, and do you understand that that war might never happen? So, but somebody is giving up their whole life, their whole, what people call normal life, for something that they think will happen, and for that they are preparing themselves. And you see that it needs a lot of motivation to, always be consistent about that lifestyle, where you have so much discipline and so much punctuality and so much commitment to your daily routine, and so much, confidence, and so much determination to continue that way. Now, that person who is working in the army is not even sure there's going to be a war, and if there's going to be a war, when. So it could be tomorrow, today, it could be 10 years later, it could be 50 years later, it could be after they retire. Maybe in their whole lifetime they have no war and they are on civilian duty. And have you seen that army people are deployed for very normal tasks, like, guarding some place, or being in the security of some place. And then you see that doesn't require that kind of physical strength for which they are preparing themselves, but they keep doing those normal things, and they keep being in the normal way of life also, while knowing that their physical health is important, their state of determination inside is important. Creating a stage of fearlessness and always having courage emerged in them is very important. So they are training themselves to be ever ready, and they are ever ready in whatever scenario they are right now. So Baba says that, you see that, do you know all the people who work in the army? No, you don't know. But when they die, then when one is killed or they die, then what happens is, even a minister would visit there, and people who are in big positions would also visit and pay their homage. So that's the kind of, that's what faith is like. I think this is a very good example of faith that Baba gives us. And faith in your goal and faith in the method. So when that person believes that this is my goal and there is somebody who needs to protect the country, protect the borders, and then they have faith in the method that this kind of a training is going to result in that kind of a resilience where they will be able to protect the borders through that method. So Baba says, do you have that kind of faith and that kind of method, that kind of faith in the aim and that kind of faith in the method? Because you see that Baba has given us the knowledge of the time cycle, and Baba has told us that this is the time for the big transformation, and this is the time when you will have to do your final service, through your angelic stage. And then you have to, when you leave the body, you will go to Satyug if you are ready with your all, 16 celestial degrees and your state of vicelessness. So do we have faith in the aim? Do I have faith in the coming world? Do I have faith in the new world? And do I have faith in the period of transformation that's coming? And then do I have faith in the method? Because today Baba says that if you become doubly non-violent, then you will become doubly crowned. So Baba says the method to become doubly crowned, which is the method to become a king in Satyug. So a Satyugi king has a double crown. He is called a Maharaja. So there are single crowned Rajas after the Copper Age, but Baba says Maharajas, the ones who have the crown of purity and the crown of, power, both with them, they are the doubly crowned kings. And Baba says, if you are doubly non-violent, and then you become doubly crowned. This is the method. Now, what is doubly non-violent? So, Baba mentions two main vices which are forms of violence. And Baba says, I don't teach you violent methods. In fact, I liberate you even from the subtle violent practices which you were, so not subtle, they are big violent practices, but you were not aware of them. So Baba says you were not aware that lust is a form of violence. You were not aware how big a form of violence is anger. So Baba says when Gandhiji talked about non-violence, he talked about anger. But do you know that he practiced freeing from lust also? So there is this saying in Hindi which is very pertinent here. It is called Kameshu Krodeshu. Kameshu Krodeshu, which means somebody who is full of lust will also be full of anger. And it cannot be. So, that is why even in history, non-violence was preached and practiced by Gandhiji, who practiced celibacy also. So Baba says that I am teaching you the method to be the one with double crown, and the one with double crown you will become by not engaging in any thought, word, action, of impurity, and being free from anger totally. So, do you believe in the cause and in the method? That is the big question. Because, as much as we have faith that this is my cause and this is what needs my life and my attention and my commitment, that I create heaven on earth while people are creating, bigger hell every day. So first your aim has to be clear, and then you have to believe in the method that every single second, every single thought, every single act counts. So every single second when you are following Srimad, you are contributing to the creation of heaven. Yes, so do you understand that when an army person is practicing, yes, they don't consider that a waste of time. So Baba says that you must understand that the practices I am teaching you, in order to build the strength, have the yoga power, so that you can be free from lust and anger, these practices are very important, and the time, thought, the resources that you spend in practicing these practices and building that state of purity are not a waste, they are a big investment. So, do you understand the importance, the relevance of when you get up at Amrit Vela and you are using your time and thought to draw power from Baba? That is such an important part of your practice, and Baba says that is building the capacity in you to be free from lust and anger all day and work. And in every thought, word, and action, when you can be free from lust and anger, then you are creating a force through which world transformation is going to take place. So Baba says that you are doubly non-violent, and even in so I always like this example very much, that creation is very quiet and silent. Destruction is very loud. And it is very easy to hear the loud or pay attention to the loud, but paying attention to that which is silent is usually very difficult because it is not pulling your attention. So, have you seen that when a seed grows into a tree, it doesn't make any noise? But when a tree is cut down, it makes a lot of noise. So Baba says that what I'm teaching you is a very silent method, and Baba always says that you're planting the sapling. You're planting the sapling for the new world. But do you understand that whatever you are doing in silence, whether it is churning over Baba's truth or whether it is drawing power from Baba, having a yogic connection, or staying introverted and dwelling on paying attention to your qualities, whatever you are doing, do you understand that this is the method to become doubly crowned, and this is the method to change the world? Because if you have faith in that, then you will feel rewarded through this. And this will become your motivation to continue in your practice of purity in this impure world, because you need a lot of intoxication, a lot of motivation to continue on the path of purity in a world which doesn't reward purity. So Baba says this faith in the aim and this faith in the method will ensure that. And then Baba says that it is this remembrance, this power of remembrance, which is going to give you that strength to continue to be pure in an impure world. So if you have that deep faith, then your chart of remembrance will be very good. And the chart of remembrance will ensure that you have the required strength, to continue in this journey, to leave the body in the state which Baba asks us to aim for, and also go to heaven and rule there. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba today says that, so Baba also says that, in the world, those who work for the army are ultimately killed. So if you see, they have faith, they work towards the aim, but then because that is not true, so they don't get rewarded like that. So ultimately they lose because it's only death that they get and some medals. But Baba says you will be rewarded with heaven, and also you are unknown but you will be very well known. So when they die, so people visit and pay their respect to the dead body. But when they're alive, they don't get that respect, or maybe people don't recognize. So if they recognize, they would, but not everybody is moving in uniform, so they don't know. So when an army person is moving in plain clothes, you don't recognize, so maybe you don't give the respect they deserve. But when they die, then they are given that homage of respect. But Baba says, you children, in the end you will be revealed, and everybody would know who you are, and then they will carry that memory in their heart, and they will also build temples for you for 2500 years. So right now you are unknown, but when you know yourself, you know Baba, you know the aim, you believe in the method and you do the work, then ultimately you will become very well known. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba today says that, Baba says that um, there will be times in the world when, so let me read that out. Baba explains some situations. Baba says, people continue to fear death. You children have had visions. When you went to the forest and someone came in front of you, he had a vision. This one is goddess, and he quickly ran away. So this is an incident from the early days of the yagya, where in the jungle somebody came and then they saw the image of a goddess, so they had a sakshatkar that this is a goddess, and they ran away. Baba looks after you children so well. This is why you are called Shaktis. Baba says, Baba, all other people will be afraid of you. They fear Kali so much. A fearsome form of Kali has been portrayed. You have had visions of that too. When a thief comes in front of you, he sees your form of Kali and runs away. So if a thief or somebody who has come to harm you, somebody who has come with evil intention, will leave immediately through that vision. Baba looks after you and protects you so much. From whom? Baba says, from Ravan. Okay, so today I found this very interesting, the Murli, that Baba says, I protect you, but from Ravan. I don't protect you from situations. Yes, so Baba says that, when there is somebody who is, so, sometimes people think that I should be protected from poverty or disease. Yes, but is disease Ravan? No. Is poverty Ravan? No. So Baba says, I don't protect you from situations you don't like. I protect you from Ravan. And Baba says, when somebody is really harming that which matters, somebody is going to, somebody is going to harm your state of purity, I will protect you from that. But the thing is, have you invested enough to receive that protection? So have you protected your purity enough for Baba to protect your purity? That's why Baba says, you maintain a chart first. You maintain a chart first about how much you are remembering Baba, how much you are following Shrimat. And if you have made the required effort, then when time comes and there is really a big situation where you need to be protected, I will protect you. But the thing is, have you made that kind of effort? Have you invested in remembrance or the practice of remembrance enough to build that state of purity and peace and happiness? So Baba says, if you have done that work, then I will protect you in these unforeseen circumstances. And there are numerous examples of these stories in the Yagya where Baba has protected. When there was this one sister who went to a foreign country for seva, and then when she landed in the airport, so you think about the 80s, when this incident happened, and not so a sister is traveling alone to a foreign country, and she lands on the airport, and she doesn't even know the person who is going to receive. She has talked to that person over phone, and then she's waiting so that that person would come and pick her up and take her to where they were to go, and then the seva would start and get established. So what happens is, there is this impostor who comes and pretends that he is the person who had to receive her, and she believes him, and then she hands over his whole things to him, and she starts walking with him, and suddenly there is that person who had to come who arrives, and then she's saved in time. So Baba says, this is only one example I'm giving you, but there are numerous examples where Baba intervenes in the right time when there is some threat to the purity. And Baba says, I will protect you, but first, have you invested enough to receive that help? So have you paid attention to that much of purity? So if you have done that, if you maintain that chart of remembrance, and Baba says, just like, Baba says that when there is a race, then there is somebody who is placed to look that nobody is cheating. So Baba says, don't think that I'm not looking. So this is a race of remembrance, and I'm always looking. So you cannot cheat. And if you have really maintained your chart, you will receive the help at the right time. Okay. And then Baba today says that there is this saying, small mouth and big words. And this saying pertains to Baba and to us children. And I remember this story from the early days of the Yajna, and there were little children. So can you imagine now that 10-year-old, 11-year-old children saying that we are going to change the world and create heaven? So people used to really laugh at these things, and Baba also today says that people don't understand and they laugh. And then once somebody said somebody stopped Gulzar Dadi ji. She was a very little child at that time, and they said that, so you are such little children, and how can you say that you will change the world when you don't even know the currency properly? You don't even know the geography. You don't know the map also. You don't know what the world means. And you are so little and so, limited. You are not too many also. 5 children, 7 children. And then you're saying that we will change the world. And then, Gulzar Dadi as a child said, have you read the Mahabharat? So that person said, yes. So he said, how many Pandavas were there? So he says 5. And how many Kauravas? Then he says 100. And then she says, who won? So it's not how many, it's not how little, but when God is with you, you win. And that person got it at that time. So Baba says that, I give you the knowledge, I give you the capacity, I give you the confidence. And who would have thought, today we are also thinking that we would change the world, but earlier it was so difficult to believe that Baba would come and sit in this ordinary body and speak through this ordinary mouth and give us all the secrets of the world. And I will also narrate one incident from the early days of the Yajna where, there used to be this picketing. So there were people who were against, who did not like this idea of women practicing purity, and there was this situation in the society where many people were against these practices. And then what they did is they came and they blocked the door of the Om Mandali, where Baba was conducting classes. So they just stood there, in front of the door, and they said, we wouldn't allow anybody to go inside. And then there were students who were coming to attend the class, and there were these Kumaris, little girls who had gone out for morning walk. And when they came, the door was flanked by these protesters, and they were standing there and not allowing anybody to go. And they would use violent methods if somebody insisted. So what these people did is they also formed a line and they stood there very peacefully. And while these protectors, they ate and they had water, and they were not fully committed to this task. But these little Kumaris, they kept standing there in scorching heat all day without food, without water. And even the protesters felt sorry. And then they said, okay, we will allow the children to go in. And then these children said, we will not go until everybody goes. So we will also continue standing here until you allow all of us. And then these people, they gave up at 9 o'clock in the evening, but these little children had so much strength that they continued. And this happened 1 day, 2 days, 3 days this happened. And this is the power of non-violence. So, this is the power of non-violence. So, when you practice purity, you have the strength to be totally free from anger and violence inside you. Then, what I've seen is somebody who is non-violent can continue forever. But somebody who is violent will ultimately get tired. How long can you be violent? How long can you scream and shout? You will get tired and stop. But somebody who is non-violent will only feel better day by day by upholding their values and virtues, and they will feel rewarded from inside because Baba is continuously blessing these children. So this is also something that Baba says. And then Baba today says that Maya you have to be very careful about, because Baba says sometimes you have a lot of faith in your aim, you have faith in the method also, but then there is Maya, and then Maya pulls you into attraction, and Maya pulls you into guilt, and Maya pulls you into the opposite of attraction. You don't like the situation. But Baba says, never forget that this is Kali Yuga, and the scenes around you will either be, very attractive because Maya makes it attractive, or they will incite fear, or they will ask you to question whether, purity and honesty and discipline and these things work in this world or not. But Baba says, just hold the light of knowledge, torch of knowledge, and move. Don't get deceived by Maya. So don't look for rewards in this old world. Don't look for profit in this old world. Don't look for anything in this old world. Just understand that you have to persevere until you reach the end of this old world, the beginning of the new age. And then Baba says you will have everything. Baba today says in the Murli that in that new world, it is said, aprapt nahi koi vastu devataon ke khazane mein. So there is nothing that the deities don't have and they have to invent. So there is no invention in Satyug. Every invention has already taken place. And you are the receiver of those inventions and all the comforts and happiness that are waiting for you. But Baba says, persevere until then. Be very careful of Maya. Maya wastes your time and thought. Maya makes you doubt the method, doubt the purpose. Just steer clear of Maya by holding the torch of knowledge. Okay, Om Shanti.